Good evening and welcome. You're watching The Buck Stops Here. I'm Vishnu Shobh. On the program this evening, Rahul Gandhi does it again days after the Maharashtra government rejects the judicial report on the Adarsh housing scam. Rahul Gandhi spells it out. He doesn't agree with the Maharashtra cabinet decision. There is no reason to protect anyone. Where does this leave Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan, or for that matter, former Chief Minister Ashok Chavan, who's been named in the report? This is the second time Rahul is doing this. He had earlier insisted that the ordinance to protect convicted politicians needed to have been torn up. The big question is Rahul playing opposition to the government.
I don't myself agree with that decision. I think they should reconsider that decision. There's no question of protecting anybody.
Also coming up, a day after a Gujarat court accepts the closure report of the special investigating team looking into the Gujarat riots, Narendra Modi speaks out on what he's gone through all these years. The big question, will the legal clean chit and Modi's conciliatory note banish the ghost of the 2002 riots? Coming up, an exclusive interview with Arun Jaitley. But first, our top story. When he hit out at the ordinance that protected convicted politicians, Rahul Gandhi was seen to be asserting himself. But then there's been a lull of sorts until now, with the Congress Vice President making it clear he's not happy about the Maharashtra government's decision to reject the Judicial Committee report on the Adarsh housing scam. So just where does this leave Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan? How will he deal with this snub?
If you're asking me what I think about that, I don't myself agree with that decision. I think they should reconsider that decision. There's no question of protecting anybody.
The cabinet took a decision. I'll consult with my colleagues.
And you are ready to, because this includes Sushil Kumar Shinde, the Home Minister, so you feel all these people will have to step down? Do you agree with that?
I will discuss with my colleagues and come back to you properly.
If you're serious about this, and if the country is actually serious about this, and if the country actually wants to do something about this, we are blocked in the Parliament House again and again and again. अगर करप्शन के खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़नी है, ढांचा तैयार करिए, मगर ये बड़े बड़े भाषण चलते हैं, उसके बारे में बात नहीं होती है. बदलना है, कानून बनाओ.
Well, the big question this evening on The Buck Stops Here is Rahul playing opposition to the government. Joining us, Prakash Javadekar, Rajya Sabha MP, spokesperson of the BJP, Rahul Navrekar, head of the legal cell of the Shiv Sena, and Sanjay Jha, spokesperson of the Congress party. Mr. Javadekar, let me come to you first. The BJP said it now for the last couple of days. What does the Congress have to hide as far as Adarsh is concerned? You must be a happy man. They seem to have been listening to you.
No, but this is absolutely not only ridiculous but hypocritical. Because it was, instead of giving sermons to the nation, Prithviraj Chavan was sitting by his side. He should have told him what they did in the Chief Minister's conference then. And then he should have announced, he should have consulted and he should have announced it. But instead, you are making a public show, and at the same time, he says that these are my personal opinions. So whose opinion is official opinion in Congress? Because he is the second most important leader of the Congress, its sole vice president, after their president Srimati Sonia Gandhi. So if he says that it is his personal opinion, what does it mean? Third, he says that parliament is stopped. Who stopped the parliament? It was Andhra MPs of Congress who were moving no confidence motion every day. It was Congress MPs from Andhra who were coming into the well and disrupting the house.
Okay, Mr. Javadekar,
so it is their blame, and they are blaming others.
Okay, let me go across to Sanjay Jha. Sanjay, how do you react to what he's saying? Who exactly is in charge as far as this sort of decision making is concerned in the Congress? Is it Rahul Gandhi, who says that the Adarsh report shouldn't be hiding anybody, it should be released, it should be revealed, it should be accepted? Or is it Prithviraj Chavan, who a few days ago was part of a government which said that it needed to be rejected? Who's in charge?
Vishnu, but I just heard Mr. Javadekkar's last comment. If you do an analysis of the amount of time spent and who wasted it outside of parliament through disruptions, the BJP will have around an 85% share.
No, but Sanjay, let's not get away from the main issue.
Now let me answer your question.
Yes.
Yeah, let me answer your question. And no, but that is related to the fact when Mr. Gandhi said today in the press conference that we need to pass the other bills, which is significant if you want to create a strong anti-corruption infrastructure in the country.
But let's focus on Adarsh. We'll discuss this other point you're making later.
Bill, the
Who's in charge?
Has a role to play,
Rahul or Prithviraj Chavan? Where does this put Mr. Chavan?
Now let me answer you as far as even the Adarsh issue is concerned.
Yes.
Number one, you have, and I'll answer that. Just give me 2 minutes, and if I don't get interrupted, it will really help. The BJP's prime ministerial candidate comes to Mumbai, talks about the Adarsh society issue. What he doesn't tell the people of the country is the fact that the BJP's former president, Mr. Nitin Gadkari's relatives are the prime beneficiaries of the Benami transactions that have happened in Adarsh society. He also doesn't tell the people of India that as a chief minister of the state of Gujarat,
the report has not said it.
Of the state of Gujarat,
the report has not said it.
I requested Vishnu for no interruption. I requested
okay,
Vishnu
Sanjay, carry on. Mr. Javadekar, I'll come to you next. Yeah, carry on, Sanjay.
Yeah. Mr. Purushottam Solanki in the fisheries scam of rupees 400 crores, indicted by the Gujarat High Court, his prosecution was not allowed on written instructions of Mr. Narendra Modi. So let's put aside the disingenuous and distorted communication happening from the BJP's prime ministerial candidate. As far as the Adarsh society issue is concerned, let me tell you a couple of points. Mr. Ashok Chavan resigned even before a charge sheet was made against him. The CBI inquiry in the Adarsh society issue was initiated by the defense minister belonging to the Congress party in the UPA government. It is actually Mr. Prithviraj Chavan himself who selected 2 independent people to be part of the judicial commission.
But then why did he reject the report?
Now you're telling me, I'm answering that. If you look at the judicial commission's findings, what has the government said? The government has said that the principal 2 issues on which the entire Adarsh society, frankly, the controversy started, was the fact that the ownership of the land was disputed. The Judicial Commission clearly says that the land belongs to the Maharashtra government, and secondly, there were no reservations.
Sanjay, I'm sorry, but I must interrupt.
No, so the point...
I must interrupt, Sanjay. Let me read from this report.
Yeah.
Let me read from this report. Adarsh is not a saga of ideal cooperation. It is a shameless tale of blatant violations of statutory provisions, rules and regulations. It reflects greed, nepotism and favoritism on the part of some people who were in one way or the other associated with Adarsh. It's a sad story of unscrupulous greed of some persons closely connected with the society. I mean, you can look at the fine print and say that this report is saying something in our favor. It wasn't military land, it was government land, etc., etc. But this is what the report is all about. It's about blatant corruption by those in power.
Absolutely.
And your government went and decided not to file that report, to reject that report.
Well, let me answer that part. Now, if you look at the report carefully, there are members from the BJP, there is Shiv Sena, Suresh Prabhu, there are some members of the Congress party named, there are some members of our coalition partner in Maharashtra named as well. I mean, there are multiple people who it is said did exercise influence on the allocation of flats to different people in the Adarsh society. Now, what has Mr. Gandhi said? Mr. Gandhi today in the press conference has said what he's been consistently saying, which I believe is now upsetting the BJP, because ever since he took on the issue of convicted criminals in politics, in the ordinance, which he trashed going against his own government, and the way he actually ensured that the Lokpal bill went through in parliament, I think the BJP is extremely concerned that Mr. Gandhi is not just, kind of making these bills happen, he is pushing for a very strong anti-corruption code in the country. Now, as far as this issue is concerned, Mr. Gandhi is not in the cabinet, Mr. Gandhi is not an executive authority, so he can only exercise his personal view, which is expressed in public today,
but
saying that he does not endorse the decision of the Maharashtra cabinet
it gets translated into reality. We saw what happened with the ordinance to protect convicted politicians. Prakash Javadekar, I interrupted you earlier on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, very fact is very simple. He can't say that I am expressing my personal opinion. When he is in charge of the party, somebody must own and say that this is our decision and now we will implement it. Still people will say that you are talking sense. But if you say this is my personal opinion, this can't hold good. And the corruption part is the quid pro quo. The quid pro quo is you allow the height to be raised and then you are benefited. Like Antule, where his trust were donated by check and the bags of cements were released. So quid pro quo was the issue. Here also the quid pro quo is the issue, and therefore what is happening on the ground is that you can't have duplicity, and there is also quarrel amongst their own partners. They are continuously quarreling. It hampering the progress of Maharashtra.
Okay,
that's the larger issue.
Rahul Gandhi,
and more than that,
yes.
if you want to build anti-corruption movement, the issue is there is a helicopter scam in which new revelation from the man who paid bribes is there, that there are 150 crores paid to the FAM, and it was explained in court as a family.
Yeah,
so
but we still don't know, but sir, we don't know who that FAM refers to. You're getting ahead of yourself in that case.
Yeah, that is what we are asking. And more importantly, you have looted the country left, right and center.
BJP usually does. Well, Mr. Javadekar, it's in Gujarat, Maharashtra, in Chhattisgarh, in Madhya Pradesh, in Karnataka. Everywhere you have had serious allegations by the CAG against your BJP-ruled chief ministers. So please, for God's sake, don't start making wild allegations.
Sanjay, I'll come to you in a moment. Rahul Navrekar has been waiting very patiently.
Sure.
Rahul Navrekar, is it your view that what Rahul Gandhi ultimately does, in a sense, represents a challenge to the functioning of the government? This is the second instance. He's acted belatedly. On the first instance, he also acted belatedly. He said that the ordinance was rubbish, it needed to be torn up. So where does this leave the functioning of various politicians and governments?
Well, Vishnu, at the outset, I would urge you to give me 2 minutes of uninterrupted time, for the simple reason I could have interrupted Mr. Jha for all the false statements that he made on channel today. But give me 2 uninterrupted minutes. Right. Number one, I think what Mr. Rahul Gandhi has done today is nothing but political positioning. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is the last person who has the moral right to talk about corruption and talk about issues relating to corruption, for the simple reason, when we've seen the 2G spectrum scam, when we've seen the Commonwealth scam, when we've seen the Colgate scam, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has had a deafening silence and has not spoken a word against these scams. One. Number two, if Mr. Rahul Gandhi was so concerned about the whole issue, he should have stepped in a long time back. Mr. Rahul Gandhi was very well aware about the happenings in Maharashtra. Number three, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who claims to be holier than thou and who wants to advise everyone today on corruption, I would want to know, what moral authority does this government have to reconsider a decision based on the advice of an individual? I thought the government works on the collective wisdom of the cabinet, and if the collective wisdom of the cabinet is going to be subordinate to the individual wishes of an individual, then God save the legislative democracy in this country. Number three, if Mr. Prithviraj Chauhan, first and foremost, let me clarify that the decision taken by the Maharashtra cabinet to reject the report needs to be criticized to the core. There is absolutely no reasoning given for rejection of this report. Yes. This government has spent 7 crore rupees on the report. They have set a judicial committee to probe into the issue. That's because they did not have the mechanism to investigate it by themselves. After setting up a committee, after spending 7 crore rupees, if you are going to reject the report without any reasons, that speaks volumes about the intention of this government to deal with corruption. You also need to understand, and I need to tell, no, 1 minute, I need to just finish off with one more point. Before Mr. Sanjay Jha once again goes on to take the name of Mr. Suresh Prabhu falsely in this matter, I will personally urge Mr. Suresh Prabhu to sue him for defamation, because he only talks on the basis of briefing. He never reads a report ever before coming and talking on channel. Never in the report even once has the committee indicted Mr. Suresh Prabhu. What the committee of making any special favors.
Rahul, you made your point.
Mr. Suresh Prabhu was
I'll get Sanjay to answer that.
At all.
I'll get Sanjay to answer that.
And the ridiculous conclusion.
Now, Rahul, you're being unfair also, Rahul. You made your points. You made 5 points, Rahul. You made 5 points. Let Sanjay reply to a few of them. The first point that he made was that this is political positioning as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned. Is this what it's all about?
Well, very quickly, I think Rahul Narvekar's Shiv Sena, and Vishnu, since I live in Mumbai, I can tell you that Mumbai's entire cosmopolitan character has been destroyed by this party. The corruption in the BMC is epic. And
you talk about the issue.
Corruption, I can only
Sanjay, speak about the issue.
Anyway, number
two. I'm surprised. Actually, Mr. Rahul Narvekar has agreed with what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said.
She blamed all the Biharis and Uttar Pradesh.
One moment.
Is that
Rahul, why
Sanjay,
does
go
the
ahead.
Shiv Sena party
Rahul, just let him answer.
Let him answer. Why do you have to behave like a goon even in
No, but Sanjay, that's because you're not answering the points. He's raised very...
No, I'm answering the question.
Go ahead.
He says that Mr. Rahul Gandhi was taking a political posture. Well, at the same time, he says that Mr. Rahul Gandhi should not be intervening in the decision of the cabinet. So Mr. Gandhi actually does exactly what Mr. Narvekar expects of him.
That's not what I said.
He says the Adarsh committee report, according to Mr. Gandhi,
you
he
either
said
don't
it needs to be
understand English or you prefer
he
not
does
to
not
understand.
support. Vishnu, you have a gentleman here from Shiv Sena, which I think is a party famous for rowdyism on the streets and in TV stories. You'll have to contain him a wee bit. But let me finish anyways. The point I'm going to make is that's exactly what Mr. Gandhi did. Mr. Gandhi has respected the legislative processes of this country. I've been saying that repeatedly on channels because everybody's been saying, but what is Mr. Rahul Gandhi going to do about it? Well, he's not an executive authority. Yes, he's the vice president of the Indian National Congress Party. He can take up opinion, even on the ordinance, by the way. He expressed it as his personal opinion.
Yeah, but we know what happened after he expressed that personal opinion.
1 minute.
It was acted upon.
Let me tell you, he's a senior leader. No, he's a senior leader. And by the way, let me tell you, Rahul, Vishnu, even when a lot of people criticized his method of, saying trash it to the bin, he himself cracked, a joke on that when he was addressing FICCI last week.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that it was good for the country. If tomorrow you can't find Shiv Sena Gundas getting tickets in the Lok Sabha elections, the credit for that will have to be given to Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
When the fight against corruption is certainly good for the country, but Sanjay, surely Rahul Gandhi needs to speak more about some of the other issues as well.
High integrity, and who's a man with a very strong reputation and who's taken on the builder lobby that many political parties have supported. Let me assure you that you have not heard the end of it.
Okay, all right. We have not heard the end of it.
The Chief Minister
will Prithviraj Chavan accept what Rahul Gandhi says, or will he continue to insist that this particular report should be dispensed with? It shouldn't be accepted at all. We'll wait and see.